Wait for it. Wait for it. And we're live. Hi, all you crazy sci-fi and fantasy fans. It's time for your daily dose of shenanigans over here at the Blasters Blades podcast. Just a couple of nerdy veterans, one chaos coordinator, and a chief shenanigator geeking out over our science fiction passions and fantastical fantasies. A place where magic is king, the sky is the limit, and space is the place. We are the podcast that puts the fun in dysfunction. So without further ado, we're going to let our guest, Mr. Daniel Medrano, introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers at home.
Hey there, hi there, ho there. My name is Daniel Medrano. I am an author, and I guess here to talk about Where Legends Walk, the superhero anthology that I am publishing. It's currently on Kickstarter.
All right, and the next part of the introduction, dear listeners, where we found them. And so I actually found him because he submitted to a couple of my anthologies, and he was published in 3 or 4 of them. So he was the first in our, unfortunately, grossly underperforming Storming Area 51 anthology. He was in Fires of Retribution, Cogs and Cutlasses, and there was one more, and I'm drawing a blank. But there were 4 of them. I remember seeing them on the author website. So obviously I've read his stuff. It's good. But with that out of the way, before we start talking about you as a nerd, we do have to do the religion questions. Are you ready to take this test, sir?
Let's go.
All right. Star Wars, Star Trek, or Firefly?
Gonna have to go with the Wars.
Okay, both of them?
Ooh, that. You know what? I'm open when it comes to Disney era, but I prefer the original.
Okay. Well, you said the Wars, and I was thinking the Stars, so I was like Star Wars and Star Trek that you weren't committing, and then I realized that after I said it, but it worked because there's the pre-Disney and post-Disney Star Wars.
Exactly. Like I can't hate. They gave us the Mandalorian.
Andor was pretty good too.
I've watched a bit of it. I really did enjoy it. I didn't get all the way through though.
I just like the fighting from the ground up kind of thing, and it was just the average, rebel and the average stormtrooper. It definitely humanized both sides a little bit. I liked that.
Right. Yeah.
So I really dug it. I need to go back and watch season 2.
Right.
But yeah, I enjoy all of it. I enjoyed the Clone Wars and the Star Wars Rebels, the cartoons that Disney put out.
Oh yeah, those were good.
So Disney did some good things, and I enjoyed Rogue One. I don't know, was that a Disney one or was that pre-Disney?
That was a Disney one, and I really liked it. I get why they handled it the way they did. Part of me is still upset though because Donnie Yen's character died.
Yeah, but I mean they're writing.
Spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched Rogue One. That's been how many years now?
Right, but part of the problem is a lot of that stuff's already canon. So when you go backwards, that is the risk. The stakes aren't always there because you know the outcome for some of it, which is why you have to add new characters for that. Because those you don't know what's going to happen to.
No, exactly.
But okay, because we are polytheistic here at the Blasters and Blades podcast, Game of Thrones, The Wheel of Time, or Chronicles of Narnia?
Gonna have to go with the Thrones, as long as we ignore the fact that it was never completed. The show never got an ending. That's how we take this.
And the books never got the ending.
And the book are probably never gonna get an ending.
I know during the Hugo Awards, a fan asked when they were going to get an ending to George R.R. Martin, and he was so emotional over someone daring to ask the question that he stormed off stage, and then the sycophants at the Hugo Awards were booing the person that just wanted to know when she was going to get her ending.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird. I bet they want an ending too, but they're just going to boo because reasons.
Yeah, reasons.
So I liked parts of Game of Thrones. I liked the grittiness. I dug the history angle that he put into it, because George R.R. Martin is a good historian.
Oh yeah.
I just sometimes it was almost too gritty for the point where it was beyond necessary. Realistic, okay, as far as medieval combat goes, but I thought some of it was unnecessary.
Yeah, it almost felt like a little sadistic in some of the things he chose to do with.
Like that Red Wedding. I mean, it was well written. Got no problems there, but man, was it gritty.
Oh yeah.
It was almost like splatter porn kind of levels of description. And the movie, or the HBO series, did not do justice to what was in the books.
Oh no.
Um,
And yeah, we got the sensors to thank for that. So
absolutely. The other part that I didn't like with the Game of Thrones, this is I've never made it past book one on the books,
mhm,
but for the series at least, from what I saw, he didn't seem to understand the concept of combat, like medieval combat. Like you can know what happens, but not know why certain movements are doing certain things if you don't
right.
study military strategies. And
Yeah.
so some of what he did just made no sense. I mean, like the concept of scouting existed in medieval times.
Mhm.
So this era of people would have known, hey, maybe if I send my cav ahead, I can see what the other side is doing and surprise them. Well, now factor in you've got dragons with wings and you can fly above the enemy. Why weren't they scouting? Why weren't they dive bombing and flaming? You know what I mean? Like using some aerial combat maneuvers because they would have thought about it.
Right.
I mean, the very first person in a plane when they were going over enemy lines as just a photographer is like, huh, if I had a grenade, I could drop it on these bad guys because it's just intuitive, right? Like I'm above the
Yeah.
bad guy. I can see the bad guy. Why shouldn't I hurt the bad guy?
Yeah. I have the high ground, Anakin.
Exactly. And so the fact that they missed opportunities, they didn't provide themselves support, they hold themselves up in that little castle at the fortress at the end. I'm like, no, you
Mhm.
spread out, fall back, like make layered positions.
Right.
Layered defense is not a new concept. They had that back then.
Yeah.
So I mean that's why you have the moat around the castle walls, and a lot of times those castle walls had inner castle walls before
Hmm.
you got to the inner keep. Like they understood the concept of layered defense. I don't know why they didn't add it to the TV show, and I don't know if it was in later books.
Yeah.
But
I yeah. A part of me thinks just because TV doesn't really factor in the fact that hey, people actually thought about these things, but TV's just like, oh, that would look so cool, and yet they still didn't do anything with the dragons.
and that's just it. You can make it look cool.
Yeah.
Like I am a big proponent of the rule of cool,
Right.
but that doesn't mean you have to be stupid. I also do like that the canonically we have Starbies in Westeros, as well as plastic water bottling companies because the magic of recycling or something with the bloopers. I imagine at some point they're going to release the box set that edits those back out. But
God, I hope not.
I almost like that they're there just because it's kind of like a moment in time. And I'm not
Right.
even mad at it. Like, how many times have you edited your work? Other people have edited. It's on its like ninth pass, and still there's one comma that's wrong that everybody
Oh,
just missed, right? Like stuff happens. So it did that.
so many times.
I'm not even crapping on them for having that mistake stuff. And I imagine, based on whatever the temperature or the shooting schedule was, like the drinks were there for a reason, right? Like it
Yeah.
wasn't just someone being lazy. So yeah, but they did the same thing with the Han Solo shooting first with this, or when they edited the original Star Wars movies, right? Like,
Yeah.
no, like let it stand whatever it was the first time.
Right. Yeah. It was a whole thing where like I think the original impetus was, oh well, Han's supposed to be a hero. We shouldn't have the hero shoot first. Like no, he is legitimately like the lovable rogue. That's his archetype. Have him shoot first. It makes sense.
Especially if you want the character arc later into the series as he changes and evolves.
Exactly.
Um, but yeah, so I hope they don't take that out and they just leave it for the box sets, but
Mm.
we will see. All right, so one of the crying shames of adulthood is we do stop asking each other the important questions. So I'm going to ask you today, Daniel, what's your favorite dinosaur?
It has to be an ankylosaurus.
Why?
I mean, who doesn't like a giant armored dinosaur that just smacks people with a tail? That has essentially a mace on the end of it.
Okay, that's a good answer. So you like the offensive capability.
I like that it has the offensive capability, but again, it's armored. It has that defense. It could just curl into a ball, and nothing will. Well, stuff would, but it kind of it it's safe for the most part.
Okay. So we are civilized human beings here at the Blasters and Blades podcast. We are no longer knuckle dragging troglodytes. So coffee or tea, and how do you take it, good sir?
I take coffee and I take it with a quarter cup of milk, and some of my favorite protein.
Okay. Uh, wait, you add protein to your coffee?
I do.
What are you putting in there?
I'm putting Syntha 6 in there right now, which is currently my favorite.
Okay. I've never known anybody to do that. Is that sort of like a keto coffee type deal?
I guess I just heard someone's like I would see things for like protein, like the protein milk, like the Power Core milks. You would see like it at the store or something like that, and I would see that. I'm like, what would this taste like in coffee? And I just like did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like not everyone just wakes up one day and says, "Hey, I want to write a book or I want to write a story." So how did you evolve from someone who writes the words to someone who, at one point in time read the stories?
Uh, it was definitely when I learned the fact that I am too impatient to learn how to animate.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I was very heavy into. I'm still very much heavy into cartoons. But I wanted to make my own cartoons. But then I realized, drawing takes a lot of time and effort. And when you're a kid who doesn't know how to do animation, you realize, man, that's a lot of work, and I'm not good at drawing. I need to do something else. And then I'm like, hey, I could still come up with this stuff. And a huge part of that was like reading books, like uh, the Harry Potter series was my introduction to like major, I guess, pop fantasy is what it could be called, because that dominated every child's bookshelf, I think, for a long time.
Okay.
And and then uh, and then I just kind of grew from there. Like when I was 13, I think my biggest thing was the Night Angel trilogy by Brent Weeks, and that was when I was like, you know what, I want to do something like this, and then just like started like creating stories.
Okay. And how did you get from there to, short stories? Because right now everything you have published are short content.
That's correct. Um, Short content was just I like short stories were just kind of faster, I think, and more of a test for myself because like I have all these books I want to write, but they take as we all know, writing a book takes a lot of time and effort. Um, but I always have like these little one-off ideas, like can I do something with that? And then a friend of mine, is who is actually on your Facebook, one of the groups that I think you run or you're part of, mentioned that you had an anthology uh, for the Area 51 raids, and I hadn't written a short story since high school. And he's like, "Dude, you should check this out." And checked it out, and then I was like, "Yeah, I could try this." And then wrote a story, went through the whole process, sent it to you, and I think like that same day you got to me, or like it
Yeah.
was you were, yeah,
So it
yeah.
was the person that does the business in the back end, but like I was the one reading them, and it was just we got so many of them. I said yes to everything, and then at that point it was like, yeah, you're not doing that again, Jr. We're gonna have a limit because we actually had to change the font on the physical copy of the print book
Hmm.
to make it fit in the max page range for Amazon's print on demand. Um,
Oh,
so it was some gerrymandering with the margins, so to speak, to get
okay.
that done. But there were just so many good stories. If I had to do over again, I probably would do them in 2 volumes, and I would have released them as soon as I had the first batch done. Just
Hmm.
because part of the reason it didn't sell as well as it could have is because the FBI came and cockblocked us. So the guy does the meme. It becomes a joke. They start planning a festival there. It was going to be the Woodstock of
Yeah,
our generation. I
yeah.
still say if it had happened, right, like we'd still be selling copies of this anthology. But then, of course, the Air Force took it seriously. They mobilized the Air Guard.
Hmm.
They had colonels. I'm picturing old white dudes with like white hair trying to explain the Beckys and the Kevins and the Chads and the Naruto running and all that in
Yeah.
PowerPoint. But they
Just having
thought
a
it was,
Corpcom pipe out of
yeah.
nowhere, just like we're full imagery on this one.
Right. And so I imagine like because they thought it was serious. They thought we were really going to overrun it because the motto, of course, was they can't stop us all. But it was
Right.
really just going to be like an outdoor festival outside the gates. Nothing was going to
Yeah.
happen. But the FBI got involved and they sort of forced the guy to take his website down. And so I like to joke that
Yeah.
the FBI cockblocked my anthology because by the time we released it on the day the event was supposed to happen, they had already shut everything down, and like I think 5 people showed up to the gates where the event was supposed to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, I
It was
remember because I had taken off that day. It was like, yeah, that was my celebration. I found out, I was like, man, there was no one there, dude.
so if you're going to ride the cultural zeitgeist when it comes to anthologies and products in general, you have to turn it around quick while the momentum is there. Because if you wait for the launch day of the event, you've already missed the window.
Yeah.
So that was a very expensive learning lesson for me because it was about $5,000 to put that together that I still haven't recouped. But that's what
Yeah,
credit cards are for, right?
yeah, no, and if anything, it was a happy accident because yeah, it was that you taking a chance, and even if you just like carte blanche, like everyone's getting published, it still got me in it. And I'm like, you know what, this is I want to keep doing this. I want to expand that.
Well,
So
to,
either
to
way,
be
thank you for
fair,
that.
not everyone got published. Just all of the
Okay,
stories that were well written and good. Because we did reject stories, but there were so many that I liked that I just said yes to everything.
that's okay.
That
That
I
makes me
liked.
feel
That I
better
liked.
now.
It wasn't literally every submission. It was the ones that I liked. I didn't narrow it down to keep the a max cap on how many stories. So we had 35 stories in that anthology.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was
It's
crazy.
bigger than a Brandon Sanderson book. If I drop that on you, I will break your foot. Did you ever
Take
get
that,
your
Sanderson.
right? Did you ever get an author copy?
I got the. No, I don't think I ever did.
Yeah, well, as an author, it's a little bit of inside baseball, dear listener, but you can get generally physical copies at about half off as the author because that's then you can take them to cons and sell them or
Right.
sell them with signatures on your website. They just basically give them to you at cost, and so like I have a copy of everything that I write for me, and then one for each
Mhm.
of my kids, so that way for posterity they each have a copy of the books I wrote in
Right.
case they want them, or they could burn them, whatever. It's theirs to do with as they wish, but yeah, that's one of those ones when I get that one, that's the size of 2 regular anthologies.
That's fair. Oh god. No, it was
Okay,
it
so
okay.
what do you think draws you to decide to tell those stories? Was there any one thing, or you just the ideas in your head and you have to make them go away?
It's a little bit of that. It's like part of it is like I'll see something or like I'll just get a random stray thought and it's like, ooh, what can I do with this? And how do I make the voices in my head stop for like 5 minutes so I can keep this going? Um but yeah, no, it just kind of drew me in. Uh I can't really think of anything like any one thing. It was like I'm writing, that's all I want to do.
Okay. Um, with your writing,
Mhm.
um, do you like draw in people that you know, or do you just kind of make everything up and have fun with weird new ideas?
It's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. A lot of people, just prime example, the story in the Area 51 uh, anthology, Hey Sweetie, or Hello Sweetie, I think is one of those two. Shout out to my Doctor Who fans. Um, a lot of the characters are all based off, well, at least the main characters, uh, uh, Libs, Rex, and Trix. They're all based off people I know. Uh, and like the whole thing happening around us just completely random. I'm just like, you know what? We need a Kyle, we need a Stacy.
Right.
uh and I just ran with the toys that I was given, and my entire thought process making that was like, I want to make it to where they regret saying I can't, like nothing was off limits.
The fun one was people made references to like culturally important people. So we had Brad Pitt
Mhm.
references, Chuck Norris references,
Yep.
Jackie Chan, which obviously we know, he's no longer with us.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure he's dead. Yeah.
Hmm? Jackie
Now I'm
Chan?
gonna second guess myself, but like they were referencing famous action stars. Like somebody made a veiled reference to Steven Seagal, for instance.
Oh god.
It was the fat man doing bad karate.
Oh god.
It was the funny part.
Dang, I didn't think of that. I should have thought of something like that.
Okay, I was wrong. He is not dead. Oh,
Okay.
okay. Well, I don't want to curse him, so knock on wood and light your sage or whatever you got to do, dear listener. But like, there were references to Jackie Chan in there, and just a whole bunch of shenanigans, and I was there for all of it. I loved it. Um, but you let reality sort of impact the way you tell stories.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite like type of story to tell? A favorite archetype that you like to use?
Oh, for a long time, my favorite was like the noir style first person. Uh,
Okay.
because I don't know why. I just like, you know what? That just seems cool.
Okay.
um, but now with like doing like uh the anthologies, I'm experimenting more with like the general style of like, you know, just third person or like going straight with just a regular straightforward fantasy. Uh, like key example, A Dragon's Judgment in the Fires of Retribution anthology. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm I still like the first person like uh storytelling, but I'm expanding. I'm spreading my wings, so to speak, when it comes to different styles.
Okay. Now this specific anthology, where Legends Walk, it's a superhero
Yeah.
anthology. Is it a shared world among all of the contributors? Because we're sort of quasi merging into talking about the anthology Kickstarter, but are all of the stories standalones?
As far as I'm aware, um, all the stories are standalone. Mine definitely is a standalone.
Okay.
Uh, we
Are
weren't given
you
any
a
kind of direction. Oh, sorry.
are you a superhero fan yourself then? Since you're doing the the superhero stuff, were you a comic reader? Any of that?
I everything. I grew up in the '90s when we had like the Batman movies, we had the Ninja Turtles, uh, like the Power Rangers. All I am like down bred in the bone superhero love when it comes to my life.
Okay. At some point in time, would you like to write a script for a comic book as well?
Oh, I've got several in my mind right now.
So I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah. Oh god. I will say this right now. I will fight anyone who tries to challenge me on it. If anyone tries to write a Daredevil and TMNT crossover, I am fighting you. I call dibs.
Okay. All right. All right. So we do want to spend some time on the Kickstarter because that's what brought us
Right.
here, and it's going live right now. It
Hmm.
is like $31 away from funding, so you're going to get the Kickstarter funded. Do you
Hmm.
know when it closes?
It closes on November, I believe it was 18th that it closes.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know it was that long. So you're
No,
definitely
not
going
no
to,
November. Sorry, September. I misspoke. That's on me.
yeah. So that's definitely going to fund. So normally we would in our episodes, dear listener, we have our sponsor episode, but since it's a Kickstarter, they're sponsoring this one. So I'm going to show you the video that I screen recorded from the Kickstarter website that you'd see if you go to their website. But it does a really good job of selling the anthology. And then when we bring it back, Daniel's going to tell us a little bit about the perks, the tier levels, and then finally we're going to talk about his specific story. So if you pause for a moment, we're going to let that explanation run.
Definitely.
Look! Up on the shelf. It's a book. It's an anthology. It's Where Legends Walk. Continuing our mission across space, time, and genres, Oddity Prodigy Productions is proud to bring you our fourth full anthology. We've previously brought you scary stories and scary stuff, fantastical adventures in Beneath the Yellow Lights, and journeys to the stars in Brighton. Now, we're bringing all those elements together in this brand new collection of original tales, featuring superheroes and all the wonder, excitement, and mystery that come with them. We grew up reading the larger-than-life exploits of heroes like Superman, Spider-Man, Wolverine, or the All-Star Squadron facing off against villains like Mr. Mxyzptlk, Doctor Doom, Kraven the Hunter, or Solomon Grundy. Those stories and characters stayed with us and created a lifelong love of superheroes. This anthology is jam-packed with original stories and original heroes from writers who feel the same. Stories like Ratcatcher vs. the Spring-Heeled Fiend by David Turnbull, which follows the Victorian-era exploits of a down-on-his-luck man who dons a mask to confront a terrifying monster. Nobody by Kay Hannafin, which follows the harrowing tale of an unhoused hero defending those who most need it from an invasion. Kelly Fitzpatrick explores a mystery among the stars in the brightly shining Standing Wave. Kareem Miskell writes about a more thoughtful approach to heroism and justice in A Better Way. Steve Gillies gives us the tale of two men trying to understand each other and the twists and turns of life in Rooftop Interviews with a Man of Might. Clapback brings us the story of a hero who might be in over his head, but refuses to surrender in the face of a dire threat to the world's very existence. David Boyce goes cosmic in the expansive tale, The Cult of the Black Hole, and shows us the massive scale of heroism in worlds beyond our own. These and so many more await you in our most jam-packed volume yet, Where Legends Walk. This Kickstarter will help us get this book into your hands. We have some great rewards beyond just the book. We have digital and physical copies of the book, signed copies, buttons, cover prints, and signed cover prints, all available. But this time, there's even more. At the Cornman level, you'll receive Where Legends Walk, featuring the story The Ballad of Cornman by Colin Anderson, and an exclusive CD and digital download of a performance of the ballad itself. You won't want to miss this amazing reading of this extraordinary poem. With the Good Intentions level, you'll receive a unique original print and acrylic pin based on my story, Good Intentions, about how the worst of acts might have the best of results, with art by Delaware's own local artist, Brian Albers. You can even get some mystery comics and toys at the Mystery Box level, featuring items hand-selected from lifelong collector and editor Jacob Jones Goldstein's personal collection. The highest level, costumer extraordinaire Shasta Shots will be handcrafting and designing a custom superhero cape just for you that you can wear to conventions, events, or even work. It'll be that nice. All this and more awaits. This Kickstarter is to help us get these wonderful tales into your hands. The funds raised will help us cover the printing and distribution costs, and to pay our authors. We couldn't make these great books without you, cannot overstate how much we appreciate people backing our campaigns and enabling us to get these adventures into print. We don't have an oath here at Oddity Prodigy Productions like the Green Lantern Corps, but if we did, it'd be something like this. In brightest day, in blackest night, this collection is out of sight!
All right. Thank you for sticking with us through that commercial interlude where we talked about the Kickstarter anthology that brought us here. So first off, can you talk about the various levels that people can get on this Kickstarter? Obviously, some of it they covered in the video, but can you elaborate a little bit?
Of course, yeah. Well, we got your standard down with OPP. That's just a $1 donation. If you just want to kick in, say, and just show that you support the project, just $1 is more than enough. That's all we need in terms of support from you guys. Then there's the full digital oddity, $10. You get a digital copy of the anthology, and yeah, delivered directly to you. Then there's the full oddity, $20. You get a physical copy of the book in paperback. Then from there it goes to the mystery box, which is a $40 donation. That's the one that you mentioned in the mystery box, where not only do you get the book, you also get one of his toys that he's collected over the years and one of his comics. You don't get a choice, but the guy seems like he has good taste, so I think there's probably some good ones in there. Then we go into the Ballad of Cornman, which was also mentioned. That is the $50 donation. Then also the Good Intentions, also $50. Then there is the Full Prodigy. This is also a $50 donation. And with this one, you get a physical copy of the book, the digital copy. You get a set of pins based off the anthology. Oh, nope, sorry. Oddity Prodigy production pins or buttons, I should say. And also a print signed by the artist. And then there's, of course, it goes on for a library bundle, which is a bundle of all the books that he had just mentioned. That goes for the 92. Then you get then there's a $100 donation option, which is the Ultimate Oddity Prodigy Bundle, which basically collects everything that we just said, with a copy of the book, where 3 additional pins, an additional set of the buttons, and then what he claims is a snazzy set of Where Legend Walks postcards. Then of course there is the retailer level, which is 6 paperback copies for 110, just in case you want to spread the love of the story. And then finally, sorry.
I imagine that's for small indie comic book shops too.
I imagine, yeah, you probably right on that one. And then finally, there is the Up and At Them tier. For $350, you get a copy of the book, the pins, buttons, and as was stated, one of a kind custom-made cape designed by Sci-Fi Cheer Girl, whom they have listened, who they showcased in the video, which her work looks immaculate. I was half tempted when the Kickstarter went live to get this myself.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's generally. Oh, sorry.
So that's generally what you can expect as you back it. Now it's a traditional anthology, so it's short stories. It's not actual comic book.
Right.
I know most people erroneously think comic books when they think superhero stories. That is not true. There are plenty of people that do superhero stories in print form as well.
Oh, yes.
But are there images inside of the book for like the various stories, like we saw in the video, or was that just the marketing?
I think that's just the marketing. I myself have not been shown anything.
Seen the final copy yet?
Yeah, I haven't seen the final copy yet. I'm excited because like some of the stories that they just showcase, I want to read those myself. Like, oh,
right,
give me that. But just looking at the cover for the anthology, I am really excited just to see what they come up with.
Okay, so that's the anthology itself. It closes mid-September, so if you're going to back it, don't miss your window. What can you tell us about your specific story in the anthology?
Ooh, this. So some background. I wrote Memories of a Demon. That's the name of the story. I wrote this way back, and for another submission call, it got rejected. But it was one of those stories that I kept just like, ooh, I really want this to be something.
Right.
So I held on to it. Then this, and I think what made me want to hold on to it is because we have these standard superhero stories of fighting a giant villain larger than life, or seeing far off galaxies and stopping evil acts there. I brought this story down to a more base level with a human hero. He's a part of the older generation, the old guard of superheroes. He goes through so many years as a hero, and he's also a single father, and that's something I don't think we get to see a lot of when it comes to superhero fiction. Something like that, unless we count Batman, but yeah, that it depends. But yeah.
Wait, well, Batman wasn't a single father.
I mean, he's single and he keeps on adopting kids like he's ordering pizzas, but
Okay, well, I don't know enough of the lore, so there might be some of it out there. You could be right. Is this a universe you want to play in again? Not the Where Legends Walk. That's just a collection of stories. Specifically, the universe where your story takes place. Is that somewhere you'd want to visit again and tell more superhero stories?
I honestly believe so, because when I was creating a lot of the concepts for the story for the character, the demon from downtown, or just the demon, there was a lot of stuff I pulled, and it's like, ooh, that would be so fun to explore. uh, like just there's one point where he mentions how one of his best friends died and came back to life, as you do in superhero fiction. But it's just like, that's something that could be fun to kind of look into.
Yeah. So, like, how did you come up with the idea? We talked about it. It was an idea that had been around for a while, but
Mhm.
ultimately, where did the base idea come from? Do you remember?
Uh, yeah, actually, I do. My base idea for it was just because again, we have like the larger than life superheroes. I like the more human aspect of certain heroes. Uh, like we had the Batmans, we have the Supermans, we have like these larger than life characters that everyone loves. But then you have characters like Wildcat, or like Richard Dragon, who is a martial arts based superhero. Um, just these heroes that don't have superpowers, but they can throw a mean punch, and they just keep finding themselves thrust in these crazy situations.
So you like the everyman superhero almost,
I
which is
do.
probably why you like Batman so much.
Oh yeah,
Well, I mean, as everyman as you're gonna be when you're super rich, right? But
yeah,
like he
exactly.
doesn't have magic. He doesn't have magical powers. He just has a magical wallet.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I brought up like Wildcat, who was a former boxer, who just became a superhero because hey, there are people who are doing bad stuff. I got these hands. They need to hit something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, with your short story,
Hmm.
is it on the short story spectrum? Like there's varying sizes, right? Is
Hmm.
yours somewhat of a longer short story, or did you keep tight to the 7 to 10,000 window that most anthologies play with?
I definitely kept tight to that 7 to 10. In fact, I think this is like one of the shorter stories I've written, which is hard for me to do because I've been spoiled by the ones that give me the options like, hey, you can go like you could do like 10,000 words, 15,000 words. Like, don't do this to me. why, why are you gonna give me this so much stuff to play with?
So I actually am one of those ones that will do that, but it's only because I go long myself. So it'd be hypocritical
Mhm.
if mine was the only like 13,000 word story.
Right.
So that's one of the things I always hated when I was in the army. Do as I say, not as I do. Like poor
Yeah.
leadership. So I'm like, well, mine go long. So as long as it makes sense, I'll do the same thing. Some of the stories don't quite hit the minimum, but they're good and they're
Yeah.
complete. So I'm like, yeah, close enough. I'm not that
Right.
legalistic about it. Um, so what was the defining moment for you when you were writing the superhero story? Were you like
Mhm.
picturing yourself in it? Was it like a movie in your head? Or was it, just, obviously you said a computer and work. Like, do you get into it when you're writing superheroes?
I kind of do. I don't. I the character of Jack Grant, who is the main character in Memories of a Demon. He's not someone I put myself in, but he's someone modeled after a lot of people who have had impacts in my life.
Okay.
Uh,
Do they know
and
that yet?
I don't think so because the people in my life don't read my writing.
That's a blessing and a curse.
It is. I still get flack because I wrote a book when I was in high school, where it was very clearly told, like you could tell, like, oh, the author's basically making him and his life into a story. And within the first chapter, one of the main characters' family members dies, and so now every now and again, like one of my family members, like, oh, like when you killed when you killed this person, it's like it was just a story. Why?
Yeah, I feel you because my shrink reads my stories and I'm like, I don't know, Doc. I might end up in a padded padded room if you keep reading what I'm writing. Like I write this stuff so I don't end up here with you.
Right.
But yeah, I understand. Like that could go both ways. That they really dig what you're writing, but also they see your innermost self.
Yeah.
So now you've written other stories
Mhm.
and other anthologies. Do you think at some point in time you're going to write the opus that ties all of your short content together in one universe?
Ooh, that would be
Because
like,
I'm picturing you trying to link your Cogs and Cutlass's steampunk story into the superhero world.
oh god. And it's I had not considered that, but now I kind of want to.
Well, so the fun thing is with superheroes, at least you can go the Marvel route. Everything is multiple dimensions. So
Exactly.
you could kind of get away with just about anything you want to do. Oh, this is the other dimension version of Batman or Superman or whatever.
Right.
I know we
That
killed this one, but we pulled this one from a different world.
no, that wasn't the main guy. It was an alien that just came down and just took over for like 5 years. Don't think about it. It just happened.
So are you still deeply into the superhero stuff? Are you watching the movies?
I am. I kind of fell off on them. I came back around when Thunderbolts came out,
Okay.
which I had so much fun with. Like the action was cool, but I think what really got me was just how they handled mental health uh, in that movie.
So when it comes to superheroes, and I tell everybody when we talk superheroes, and I'm not a huge
Mhm.
superhero person, as everybody who's
Right.
listening knows, but if you want to cover political issues without being ham-fisted, and because we're an apolitical podcast, so we're not going to discuss
Okay.
the
Yeah.
specific politics, but like if you want to do it in a way that fits the story and it doesn't feel preachy and you still get your message across, I really like the I think it was Netflix that did the Black Lightning.
Mm. No, that was
And you can
CW
get
originally, but
yeah.
then Netflix took it over. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like you watch that and you can see like clearly there's some underlying political themes going on here that tie to the
Yeah.
larger world and the time in which it was being made. And like if you know, but if you weren't aware of tying it to modern history, like it's
Mhm.
just a superhero story in a gritty, quasi Chicago like town.
Yep.
And given the world they created, everything, even the activism, made sense internally. So I didn't care. And
Right.
that's a perfect way to do it. And I didn't always even agree with the politics. It didn't matter. It worked for the world. So I'm just like, okay, that's what
Yeah.
Bob here thinks. I don't have to agree with him.
No, exactly.
And I think, what was the other one? The other famous line is who wrote the Dresden Files? I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Oh, Jim Butcher.
Yeah, his famous line was don't preach harder than you can entertain.
Right.
And it's solid advice for new authors.
Yeah.
But like it took that motto and it just like nailed it home run. But I really like that superhero, and I like the arc with like the father and the daughter, and so
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, okay, if this is what superheroes can be, I'm down for this. I don't always like the
Yeah.
Marvel and the DC stuff, but like Black Lightning, I was there for it.
No, that's completely fair. Uh, I really dug it when it came out. I was sad to see how they how a lot of the shows from the CW era just kind of petered out after a certain while, but it was good. I was glad we got what we got from them.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem when you're constantly chasing the validation of the view counts, and it's not really validation. It's probably not fair to use that word, but like you need to know that you're getting a return on your investment. You need eyeballs on it so you can sell ad space, right? So like
Exactly.
if viewership dies off, which means there's not as much room sometimes to build a following.
Yeah.
Like I saw that with Stargate Universe. I love that show too, but it didn't pick up right away. Partly because, in an age before streaming, everything was, you did the DVR where you could record it, and then if you did that because you're not going to be home at what time, every time something upended the schedule, a football game ran long, emergency, news flash, all of that kicked your show back, and you end up missing stuff. And then on top of that, the Nielsen report didn't know how to track that data, so none of the DVR stuff got counted as views.
Nope.
Because it was recorded, it wasn't like the screen wasn't on showing it. So yeah, it's an interesting era. I do like some of what they did. I know a lot of people don't, but the first Green Lantern movie, I really like that one.
Yeah.
I know. Go ahead.
I was going to say I liked aspects of it. I can go into a whole thing about the issues with that movie.
And that might be one we have to do when Nick gets crazy. So he does drug interdictions for Border Patrol. So they're very busy right now. But when he gets his normal schedule back, because that's coming soon, we might have to do some reviews of some of these superhero movies too, because he's a comic book guy. That's what he does. He runs Apogee Comics.
Nice.
So it might be fun to do some of those reviews, and we might even be able to do the Green Lantern, that first one, because I think you come at things differently if you've read the comics versus this is your first introduction to the Thing. Like I really like the Starship Troopers movie, but that's where I first found the concept. I realized it's vastly different from the book. I appreciate them as different properties with the same names. But like if you're not going into it with that baggage of the previous lore, you can appreciate things differently. And I think if you watch the World of Warcraft movie, people that hadn't followed the lore, that it was just a movie, I'm like, it's good or bad, whatever. But people that followed the lore are like, no, because they got this wrong and this wrong and this wrong, and it's a different experience.
Right.
So, if they made your story, the demon story, into a short film, like, I don't know, Dust Channel that does short speculative fiction, or Murder and Robots, whatever that show is, where they do the vignettes of stories.
Yeah.
If you were going to do your superhero story as a screen adaptation, would you want like the cartoon approach? I forget what the animated approach, or would you rather live action?
Ooh, that's a tough one, because when I thought up the story, I thought of it a lot as like how it would look as a comic. But
okay.
I think what I would try to do is I would kind of like want to mix it, I think, is my ideal. You come in, we have the real life acting of we see him in like present day, it's live action, but his memories are what's animated, I think would be fun.
Okay. I dig some of the animated style. That's the newer stuff. So I would have told you at one point in time cartoons were for kids, but I've seen some of the stuff that they're putting out, and they're like legitimate, stories with arcs and emotions and all the things. It's not just some derpy cartoon for kids. So I'm getting behind the animation stuff.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy when because like I said, I grew up in the 90s. Like when you're a kid, you have no concept of that. You're just like, ooh, cartoons. But when you grow up and you look at it, it's like, oh, these cartoons were talking stuff, man.
And then some of it, you realize there was like underlying political messages, and I watched that as a kid. I don't remember that. It was just a cool show. And now I look at it as like, wait, was that really in there the whole time, or are they messing with us?
No, a prime example is when you look at old Animaniacs the old Animaniacs, if I could talk, that'd be great. The old Animaniacs cartoons, where like they would have jokes that would just go over a kid's head, but ooh, that looks funny regardless. Or like just one of my favorite examples, Batman the Animated Series, with Kevin Conroy, he will be missed. But that story, like the stories were like legit, like actual, like emotional, thought-provoking stories that didn't talk down to its audience. Like it knew its audience were kids, but it didn't mean that it treated them like kids.
I think if you're going to write for kids, that's the golden ticket: is don't assume they're dumb.
Yeah.
The ones that do well and that age well are the ones that assume the audience is capable of deep thought. I mean, age appropriate deep thought, but still deep thought.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Would you want to live in a world where the superheroes were real? Because that means the villains are real too.
Yeah, it does. And you know what? I would be crazy enough to say yes, because that would be so fun. Just because, like, I want to be able to wake up one day, have a giant like ape just crash on my car, and then call my job as like, "Hey, I can't come into work today." Yeah, it was a giant ape again. No, they took the bus too.
I like that. All right, so I know we got to wrap this up. So in a second, we're going to come back to reminding people what they can get on the Kickstarter. But before we do that, since you did write in the steampunk world, and steampunk's its own sort of aesthetic, do you think the superhero story style, where you've got the man versus the bad guys, do you think that concept could work in a steampunk world?
Oh, 100%. In fact, going back to cogs and cutlasses, my story in your anthology is a puma's prey, which is my take on uh like the pulp action adventure stories, like the Phantom or the Shadow, like characters like that, just in that steampunk pirate setting. And I,
Okay.
yeah, no, you can do so much. Superhero fiction can be so much more than what people think are just people in tights running around.
So I guess would you consider the Rocketeer who would work in a steampunk setting is basically just jetpack and fly around fighting bad guys? Would you consider him as a superhero or a vigilante?
That is a good question because the same question we asked of Batman, like whether he's just a vigilante or you consider him a superhero. I think I don't think superpowers make the superhero. I think the actions do. And if an action is more than one normal person can do, like if someone can fly using a jetpack but still do something good, then yeah, I would say I would consider the Rocketeer a superhero.
Okay, because the Rocketeer concept, like that could work totally in steampunk.
Oh yeah, no, and just with the whole thing with the actual Rocketeer character, I love that character to death. I'm a
Oh, me
huge
too. I
fan of the
like
old
the
pulp
most.
characters. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that the costuming too because it's simple. Like you
Mhm.
could totally make your own.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I'm not really into cosplay, but holy crap, when I've been to a couple cons where I've seen pictures post cons of ones I didn't go to of the
Mhm.
costuming of these people. I'm like, why hasn't Hollywood hired these people? Because come on.
Oh dude, like a quick aside, on YouTube there's a guy who's like making like practical cosplay stuff. He's making bulletproof like body armor just out of his garage and like showing how he's basically making his own bat suit. And I'm like, we're living in an era where like people can make their own superhero gear.
Well, it's going to get even better because it was a couple of years ago, so it should be coming down in actual production here in the near future.
Mhm.
An Air Force cadet, she was a cadet studying something smart people study at the Air Force Academy, and she invented a way to change the mathematical formula that made the bulletproof Kevlar vests.
Mhm.
And she made it like significantly lighter, which means you can either layer it more and have more stopping power. So now instead of small arms, it's like, oh, 50 caliber, I'll eat that for lunch, or
Right.
just, maintain the status quo as far as what you can protect against. But oh, by the way, it's like 10 pounds lighter. And once you start getting that level of lightness for effect, some of the stuff you see the superheroes do, because now it's more flexible, you could do that.
Yeah.
And the
And
cool thing is they've done some experiments with the no the Khan's horsemen. They would have their silk robes that they wore, like they would flow behind them, and everyone always thought it was just aesthetic, like it was a
Mhm.
look, because they were horse. They designed everything they wore to look, imposing as they're moving fast on horseback, because it's kind of what they did. But they found some of that layered silk stuff that caught the breeze would actually stop arrows
oh wow.
because it was constantly moving. So it would deflect or get tangled up. So it never penetrated the person wearing it,
Mhm.
which is just amazing to think about, like that they were able to do that back then.
Yeah, no,
And if they can do that, you just imagine someone applying that to superheroes now, what they can do, applying that stuff going forward.
yeah, no, it is crazy just to kind of think about all the stuff that like what was capable you were capable of back then and how it could easily be applied and adapted and just it makes me happy to think about sometimes. Like
Absolutely. And then they have
we have come a long way.
The X Prize, which is DARPA funded. And they've had a couple people invent some of the stuff out of like Star Trek, where it's like the tricorder that did the medical diagnosis that
Yeah,
the Bones had.
yeah.
Now it only can diagnose a limited number of things that's programmed into it. But the fact that we're starting to get there, right? Like stuff that was just science fiction 30 years ago.
Oh yeah.
No.
Fun fact actually a while back X Prize had a short story anthology open call themselves. And it had a whole premise of like an airplane being taken like so many years into the future and stuff. I didn't
Yeah.
get accepted, obviously, but it was definitely fun to write about.
Neat. This is where Substack comes in. Stuff that you know is good, but just didn't quite meet the zeitgeist of whoever's publishing it. Now you have a place to share it.
That is true.
If you were going to pick any one superpower that you could have, since we're talking superheroes, which would you pick for yourself?
Oh god. Okay, so this is something I have actually thought about, and I think I found what I would want. But here's where I have to like clarify. At what point do we count like do we count a whole set, or does like one singular power?
Dealer's choice. Take the
Okay.
question where you want to answer it.
Okay. Because if it's just like one singular power, definitely like battle centric precognition, like spider sense.
Okay.
It's like, oh, I know someone's gonna punch at me, but then it's just a matter of, am I like, do I have that capability of like not being punched?
The physical fitness to use the information.
Exactly. Now if it was like the whole set, I would definitely take like the precognition, the some definitely healing factor, and probably enhanced agility and strength. Just be like, oh no, I could deal with that. It's cool.
Well, when I think like a package deal, I'm like, oh, I've got elemental magic as my superpower, because then it's got every like that's so versatile. It's
Oh yeah.
only limitation is your creativity. But for me, I'm definitely going mind control, mostly because I like to drive fast, and if I could mind control my way out of things, I'd never get a speeding ticket again.
That, you know what, based. I agree with that.
And I know everyone's like, oh, you could use that for ill, and I'm sure I could definitely think of ways where you could influence that. But for me, I just like driving really fast, and I hate paying speeding tickets. So like that would be the extent of what I'd use it for. I can't even say I'd use it for the greater good. I just wanted speed.
Exactly. I am impatient. Let me get to places where I want to go fast.
Or just go fast because going fast is fun.
That too. Let me do 200 in a school zone. God dang it.
Well, obviously common sense, because I don't want to kill any little kids, but we definitely need to bring the Autobahn to America where you could go as fast as you want to go.
Right.
Although I'm not sure
obviously I don't agree with like going above the speed limit in the school zone. Please
right. It goes without saying. But I'm not even sure the Autobahn is unlimited anymore. I think they even have speed limits on that. So
wow, really?
Kind of depressing.
Yeah, that's
But I don't know that to be true. I'm definitely going to look into it, because if that'd be on my bucket list, to go there and drive on the Autobahn, just because, like I said, floor it and see what happens.
Exactly.
But what about you, dear listener? Join us in the comments to tell us how you would use, what superpower you would pick, and how you would use and abuse it. And with that, we'll get wrapped as we bring this to a close. So what can you say as far as if you wanted to convince somebody in just like a one-liner elevator pitch to back this anthology? Give us your sales pitch.
Okay. Think of your favorite superhero. You will find it in this anthology. And if it's not your favorite superhero, to think of your favorite type of story that you want to read, it will be in this anthology.
Okay. So if you're a superhero fanatic, this is the anthology for you. Do you know how many stories there are going to be? Like how big it's going to be?
I did not get an entire count. Let me see if I can pull it up, and we can let's get a count right now, just
Sure.
to send people off with this number. Because we had, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3.
I will say I was impressed. You kept up with all my random, like, redirected TBI brain thought streams. So more power to you.
It's definitely over 20, and you know what? That's just part of the fun of having my brain is like be so random itself. It's like, oh no, I can do this. Let's go.
Okay, we're definitely gonna have to have you back to talk about other topics, including that Green Lantern movie review, and definitely do that, because the movie reviews are fun episodes, especially when you hit the nostalgia ones, because then everybody chimes in, and so it's not just view counts are nice, but it's the discussions that follow that are part of the fun.
Right.
So, all right. Yeah. So this is the part of the introduction or the conclusion episode, dear listener, where I remind you to please be kind and speak your mind on the reviewing platforms. Now, this book eventually will go to the Amazons, and you'll be able to buy it there if you wait, and you can leave reviews there. However, it also is still on Kickstarter. It will be on Kickstarter in perpetuity just because the old campaigns are not taken down, in which case, when you leave reviews, what you are actually telling future campaign backers is, I bought from this seller before and I like what he gives me, which makes people more willing to try again on a different campaign. So your thoughts still matter even on Kickstarter, even with the Kickstarter campaign. So share your thoughts. It really does help put the right books in front of the right people. And with that, Daniel, where can we find you on the wild, wild interwebs? And as usual, all the links will be in the show notes.
You can find me as Daniel Medrano on Facebook, and also Daniel Medrano author on Blue Sky. Those are all I have right now. I've got to get on the other ones so I can get like actual sites for people to go to.
Understood.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we want to tell you, dear listener, is that Daniel's a little shy, but because sometimes he teleports to Australia because he comes from the land of the upside down. And so because StreamYard doesn't like him, his image was upside down. So I'm convinced he might even be part kangaroo. But that's why we just had the static image today of the cover. But it is such an amazing picture. I don't even mind staring at it for the last hour.
But I got to tell everyone my secret, Mike.
Oh, damn. That's right. I forgot I signed the NDA, man. I'm sorry. And I really dig the art. So, man, they got lucky on this Delaware guy. I'm telling you, that's good. Is any of the characters on the cover from your story?
No, and I don't think these are ones that I designed. I think these are, I don't know if they're aimed from the story, because Demon from Downtown definitely doesn't look like, as at least in my head, doesn't look like any of these guys.
Okay. Well, this is the part, dear listener, where I tell you where you can find us. You can find us on our Linktree, linktr.ee, Linktree/Blasters and Blades Podcast. Again, Linktree/Blasters and Blades Podcast, where we link to all the things, the BitChutes, the Rumbles, the YouTubes, the TikToks, the Twitters. We've got our Spotify, our Discord, our Blasters and Blades Facebook group and Facebook page. We have our email, Blasters and Blades Podcast @gmail.com. Again, Blasters and Blades Podcast @gmail.com for professional purposes only. People, save the shenanigans from Madam Stabby Stab over there on the Instagram, the Twitter, and the email. You can support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Again, buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. These episodes aren't free to produce, so we really do appreciate your patronage. Be sure to put in the comment section that it's for the podcast, and I promise I will keep my co-hosts duly caffeinated. They will drink that coffee brand coffee till it pours out of their eyeballs, and we swim away on a river of Java goodness. And with that, I would like to thank you for spending some of your precious time with us. For my crazy co-host, I am J.R. Handley, and this was the Blasters and Blades Podcast. We'll be back next week at the same time, where we'll indulge our love of nerd culture, cheesy jokes, and all things that go boom. Thank you for coming on, Daniel. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime you want me back on, I will come here and bore your listeners in any way possible.
Absolutely. I'm serious. We're definitely going to have to do that Green Lantern one, because some of the nostalgia episodes are fun, and that was, that's a good one. So we'll have to get you back. And with that, we're going to hit the end.